Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly VOC news, where we bring you the latest and the most significant news around Chinland this past week. My name is Alvin, and here are tonight's news headlines. The spokesperson of the Chin National Army, Chinland, said that resistant forces were forced to temporarily withdraw from Didim town due to intense airstrikes and drones attacks carried out by the invading Myanmar military junta and allied Chin VOC and Zomi Revolutionary Army joint forces. Fierce fighting continues near Kamplet town in southern Chinland between the Myanmar military junta and revolutionary resistance forces. The Human Rights Watch stated that although it has now been 2 years since the Arakan Army ULAAA allegedly carried out mass killings of Rohingya Muslims in Rakhine State, survivors still have not received justice and remain blocked from returning and resettling in their homes. We will also bring you other major developments and notable events that took place throughout this week. The spokesperson of the Chin National Army, Chinland, said that resistant forces were forced to temporarily withdraw from Donzang town due to intense airstrikes and drone attacks carried out by the invading Myanmar military junta and allied Chin VOC and Zomi Revolutionary Army joint forces. According to Chinland, the Myanmar military junta and the Chin VOC ZRA-EC forces launched an offensive on Donzang town with around 600 ground troops advancing in 4 separate columns from Didim and Jika towns. He added that the military also made excessive use of airstrikes and drone attacks during the operation. As a result, resistant forces made a temporary tactical withdrawal on the evening of May 19, taking into consideration the safety and properties of civilians in Donzang town. During the battle for Donzang, 3 members of the Chin Revolutionary Joint Forces were killed in action. Reports also indicate that around 80 troops from the Myanmar military junta and ZRA side were killed or injured. Donzang town had previously been captured by Chinland government defense forces on May 23, 2024. Following the takeover, the local resistance force CDF Donzang administered the area for nearly 2 years before being forced to relinquish control once again. Fierce fighting has been ongoing since May 21st near Kamplet town in southern Chinland between the Myanmar military junta and revolutionary resistance forces, with reports also indicating continued airstrikes by the junta forces. According to reports, clashes erupted near Kamplet town on May 21st after Myanmar military junta troops advancing from Saw town in Yaw region of Magwe region launched an offensive toward the area. Kamplet Township People's Administration team has called on the public to support the resistant forces through donations and prayers. The Myanmar military junta had reportedly reinforced a large number of troops in Saw town located along the Chin-Magwe border before launching a military column toward Kamplet town on May 17. Since May 21st, daily fighting has continued in the area up to the present day. At the same time, the Myanmar military junta has reportedly been carrying out daily aerial bombings on Kamplet town. Kamplet town, located on the Chin-Magwe border, is currently controlled by CDF Kamplet, a member force of the Chinland Public Administration Organization, CPU-CPA. Reports indicate that the signboard of a Seventh-day Adventist church in Yochang, Jainchang village, Jiaodo Township, Miao district of Rakhine State was destroyed, while a local pastor has also reportedly been threatened and warned not to remain in the village. According to a local source familiar with the incident, around 15 villagers, including the village administrator and members of the village administration team, entered the church compound at around 5 p.m. on May 15 and destroyed the church signboard bearing the name of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. The source also stated that the pastor living inside the church compound has been threatened and told not to stay in the village. Yochang Jainchang village is primarily inhabited by members of the Moro ethnic group, with around 90 households and an estimated population of about 450 people. Among them, more than 20 residents are believed to be Christians. Reports say that a member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church personally purchased land with private funds and donated it to the church. A pastor's residence was later built on the property, and worship services have reportedly been held there for about a year. According to the Mro Times, the church signboard had originally been erected with permission from the village administrator. However, the incident reportedly occurred because many local villagers and members of the village administration opposed the presence of a church within the village. Joshua Van, the Chin UFC flyweight world champion known as the Fearless, has officially been announced by Ultimate Fighting Championship USC as one of the featured fighters set to appear at the UFC Freedom 250 Fan Fest, which will be held at the White House in Washington, D.C. this coming June. The event is being organized as part of celebrations marking the 250th anniversary of American independence. According to UFC officials, the White House lawn will be transformed into a UFC-themed venue featuring live music performances as well as fan meet and greet opportunities with some of the organization's most popular fighters. Joshua Van, who recently defended his UFC flyweight championship title with a victory over Japanese fighter Tatsuro Taira, was listed among the top names scheduled to appear at the White House Fan Fest event taking place on June 13 and 14. In the official announcement revealing the 25 UFC fighters participating in the event, Joshua Van's name appeared at the top of the list alongside internationally recognized MMA stars and former champions, including Alexandra Pantoja, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, and Kamaru Usman. Reports also indicate that the Chin UFC flyweight world champion Joshua the Fearless Van will soon embark on his first ever Asia tour with planned visits to Malaysia, Thailand, and India. During the trip, he is also expected to attend the 25th anniversary Silver Jubilee celebration of the Chin Refugee Committee (CRC) in Malaysia. Human Rights Watch says that although it has now been 2 years since the alleged mass killing of Rohingya Muslims in Rakhine State by the Arakan Army ULA-AA, survivors still have not received justice and remain unable to return and resettle in their homes. The report, titled Skeletons and Skulls Scattered Everywhere, was released by Human Rights Watch on May 18. According to the 56-page report, AA fighters allegedly opened fire on Rohingya villagers carrying white flags as they fled fighting between Myanmar military junta forces and the AA near Tan Shao Kan village, also known as Hoya Siri village, in Budidang Township on May 2, 2024. Human Rights Watch stated that at least 170 people, including around 90 children, were killed in the mass killing, while the actual death toll on the ground could be even higher. Human Rights Watch said the findings were based on interviews with 41 witnesses and survivors, as well as analysis of satellite imagery, videos, and geolocation verification. The Arakan Army ULA-AA has denied the allegations since last year, responding that its fighters strictly followed international laws of war and the Geneva Conventions during the military operations. World Food Programme (WFP) says that more than 5 years after the military coup, around 1 of 4 people in Myanmar, a total of 12.4 million people, are currently facing acute hunger. In its report released on May 18, WFP stated that millions of people struggling daily to survive due to the coup are also facing worsening conditions driven by broader regional crisis, which has further intensified economic hardship across the country. The report says that 12.4 million people are currently experiencing severe food insecurity, while about 3.7 million people have been displaced due to ongoing conflict. It also noted that since late February, fuel prices nationwide have tripled, while the prices of basic food commodities such as rice, cooking oil, salt, and beans have also risen significantly. WFP added that price increases are highest in conflict-affected areas, with the average cost of basic food items rising by up to 18% nationwide. Due to rising costs and limited access to goods, farmers are reportedly reducing fertilizer use, which could threaten upcoming monsoon crop production. The agency warned that if fertilizer use drops by around 50%, national agriculture output could fall by up to 15%, further driven up prices and worsening Myanmar's food crisis through 2027. WFP also stated that amid rising food and fuel prices driven by the regional crisis, the European Union (EU) has provided 8 million in support to help address Myanmar's growing food insecurity. WFP said the funding will be used to provide emergency food assistance to families affected by conflict, displacement, and worsening economic hardship. Insecurity Insight, an international research organization, says that Myanmar has recorded at least 1,925 attacks on the healthcare sector over the past 5 years following the February 1st, 2021 military coup up to April 28, 2026. The attacks have resulted in the deaths of more than 170 healthcare workers. In a report released on May 19, Insecurity Insight documented detailed incidents of attacks targeting healthcare workers, hospitals, clinics, and ambulances across Myanmar. The report states that over the 5 year period, the Myanmar military junta has deliberately targeted healthcare infrastructure and personnel. It further reports that at least 173 healthcare workers have been killed, while 930 others have been arrested and detained. More than 500 incidents of damage or destruction to hospitals and healthcare facilities were recorded, along with 53 attacks targeting maternal and child healthcare services. The report also noted at least 82 incidents involving the use of heavy weapons and drones that directly impacted the healthcare system. It warns that ongoing airstrikes and indiscriminate artillery shelling continue to endanger humanitarian medical facilities as well as healthcare workers, treating displaced civilians and local communities, forcing them to operate under constant life-threatening conditions. Insecurity Insight, a nonprofit global organization, specializes in collecting and analyzing data on violence and threats in conflict-affected and high-risk areas worldwide and regularly publishes research-based reports. That concludes our news for this week. Thank you for listening to VOC and have a great week. Goodbye.